Chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Green, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank the ranking member as well and appreciate greatly the commentary that you both gave earlier with reference to collegiality and an effort to get the optimum from this committee based upon the things that we can agree upon. I thank you both. Mr. Chairman and members, I'm on a mission of mercy today. I'm on a mission of mercy because of our immigration laws and a need for comprehensive immigration reform. Please allow me to call to your attention, Mr. Secretary, the case of one Mr. Jaime Avalos Rosales. I'd like to have additional conversations with you about this because there is no way for me to give you the intelligence necessary at this time, the entirety of it. In 1996, Mr. Avalos came to this country at the age of 1 year. In 2013, he received DACA. He graduated from a high school in Houston, Texas, Bel Air High, 2014. No criminal record, Mr. Secretary. Married his wife, Yariana, and they now have a child who's approximately 1 year of age. Mr. Secretary, pursuant to the laws, he went back to Mexico, to Juarez, to the consulate, in an effort to submit himself for re-entry into the country in a lawful fashion. The law permits this. It was discovered that he was brought back to Mexico at about the age of 7, came at the age of 1, taken back at the age of 7. And because he was taken back to Mexico at the age of 7, a child, he is now barred from this country for 10 years. He had an appointment with the consulate, went there in good faith, came here as a child, went back as a child, and because he went back as a child, he is now barred for 10 years. Won't be with his baby. Won't have Christmas with the child. A very sad circumstance that if it doesn't impact one's heart, I'm just sorry for the lack of sympathy and empathy that some people may have. So I'm appealing for some help. He's not a criminal. He didn't bring himself here. He didn't come on his own volition. He came as a child. And I'm trying my best to bring him home. I'm going to Mexico to visit with him. I'll be taking his wife and his baby. She's an American citizen. Baby was born in this country. They'll be going with me. I'd like to bring him home. And I would like to ask as much help as I can get from you and from our government. Let me say this before you give a brief response. I appreciate President Biden. He inherited a tough job, tough position, but he knew what he was inheriting, and he has taken up the challenge admirably. And I compliment you on doing the best that you can under the circumstances that exist and the laws that exist. The border is about as secure as it can be given the laws that we have. It is lawful for people to ask for asylum. That's lawful. It is lawful for us to consider the request. About as secure as it can be given the laws that we have. You can't change the laws, but we can. And that's why many of us keep insisting on comprehensive immigration reform so that we can deal with the situations that include Mr. Jaime Avalos Rosales. This needs to be dealt with. Shouldn't be banned because his mother took him home to register his birth as a child of 7 years. There is a law that requires persons who leave the country once you're here to go back to your consulate and then apply and be given consideration. But if you leave and come back to the country prior to your making that application, you're banned. So I'm hoping that we can do something to help him. And I'd like to know if I can visit with you, talk more with you about this, and many other cases, of course, but I'd like to visit with you. I yield to you, sir.
Mr. Secretary.
Congressman, I am, of course, not familiar with the case that you have described. I can say that U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the agency that deals with the administration of our legal immigration system, receives on almost a weekly basis cases that present tremendous heartbreak and sadness because of how broken indeed our system is. And those pleas for mercy come from both sides of the aisle.
Gentleman's time has expired.